Well, we had to know that Cody slapping Rock and getting redemption was happening at some point, and it finally happened. We're heading to WrestleMania. Well, we got 3 weeks left.
3 weeks.
Storylines developing left and right. Feuds coming to a boil. We're really starting to see brother versus brother. We get the tag team. We got some news on the tag team situation at Mania that got a feeling my buddy's going to be hyped about.
Yeah, prayers answered.
So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We've talked about Rock and Roman's family. Let's dive into Cody's family. We're going to talk about old Dusty Rhodes today as our main topic. We got all the news. We got Raw and SmackDown recap. Spandex Standups. Let's go. All right, man. Another week in the books. Another way to develop what is going to happen at the grandest stage of them all. Evan, how you feeling?
Dude, I'm feeling great. Also, because big news, breaking news. I'm going to be at WrestleMania. I'm going to WrestleMania press pass. Email states that I will be in the press box unless otherwise notified. I am so excited. Very excited to go to WrestleMania. Grateful to be there live at... it's going to be the biggest show ever. So hype.
You excited? You spent some time in Philly? Or is this going to be your first time in Philly?
I went to Philly for a wedding about a year and a half ago. And stayed in a haunted Airbnb.
I feel like Philly's got a lot of haunted stuff.
Dude, it was so weird. Like, literally, even the Airbnb was, like, promoted as haunted Airbnb. And because it has all this like Halloween,
so it's set up like
decorations, like a lot of like dead animals on the wall, but not like dead animals in like a hunting lodge, like
just playing the gimmick,
like a raccoon, like a dead raccoon on the wall. It's like, why is it like just weird? It was so creepy. I'm excited to have it.
Was it entertaining though?
It was entertaining. Luckily, I wasn't alone.
That's a good call. Yeah. Don't want to be in those places by yourself.
We did throw a party there. One of the after parties. We were like, you have to see this weird place we're staying.
Nice.
Tangent. But to my wrestling fans, you guys will appreciate that. It's a cool spot. Look it up in Philly. If you're ever in Philly, look at the haunted Airbnb. There's one. I don't want to dox the guy, but I'll find the address.
It's fair. All right, let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get into news up top.
Boom.
Well, we talked about WrestleManias in Philly. Obviously, you got to check out Philly. Today, it was announced on Logan Paul's podcast, SummerSlam, August 3rd, 2024, Cleveland Browns Stadium.
Massive.
Ohio.
Massive.
That's awesome.
So exciting. Going to be huge. Logan Paul, superstar.
That automatically guarantees he's in a top feud, right?
Oh, he is most definitely going to be in a top feud. I would love to see a Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul, or you know what, bring someone in from the outside. You know, I could see Logan Paul easily attracting. I mean, gosh, I can only imagine who he could. Floyd Mayweather.
After Mike Tyson murders his brother,
right?
He can come for him.
Yeah, no, I mean. Which on that, I mean, Mike Tyson's going to get knocked out, y'all. Let's be real.
Bumming me out, man. I don't know
why Jake Paul keeps fighting.
Some switch goes off and Tyson just catches him with the left.
I mean, is Tyson on AARP at this point? Like,
he's got to be, man. Jeez. Well, speaking of which, Cena announced he will not wrestle past 50. He says he's drawing a hard line in the sand.
That's a good call. Some wrestlers can age well based off of their style, what they did in the ring, the level that they performed at.
Yeah. Cena picks up people.
And yeah, he's still looking good.
Yeah.
But people need to realize, like, dude, he carried WWE for over a decade straight. Yeah. And a lot of these other guys, there's a reason why The Rock can still wrestle right now, is because he carried the company for 3 to 5. He carried the company 3 to 5 years.
Isn't it crazy?
Wrestled for many other years, but same with guys like a Goldberg who wrestled into his later years.
Yeah.
I think
DDP that started later in life.
I think one of the reasons Undertaker was able to wrestle for so long was because he never stopped. He just kept going.
And he had that slow, methodical style about him. Like, don't get me wrong, he did some great, like, walking the top rope. Exactly. There's a reason he stopped doing that a long time ago.
Exactly. But no, I think it's a good call for Cena. Again, you don't want to become a caricature of yourself. And I'm glad. I mean, honestly, dude, he was naked at the Oscars. Like, give it up for. Can we give it up for John Cena for a second? Like,
you go be
what
naked
a come
at the
up!
Oscars.
What a massive! I couldn't be happier for the guy. Like, truly, like having really proven. Okay, no, I'm in Hollywood. I'm actually like.
I love Twitter was going crazy. You know, after the whole Cat Williams interview, you know, all the conspiracies about Hollywood, and some people believe that was his initiation into Hollywood.
John Cena's.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we want to take it a step further, you know, there's some people that think there's some stories about John Cena in the old WWE. Yeah. Maybe that's what we should start calling the old WWE.
Yeah, some people said, quote, career ender. Mandy Rose said, don't count her out yet. She says, I don't think I'm done with wrestling in a recent interview. Would you love to see a Mandy Rose run again? I love Toxic Attraction.
I liked Mandy Rose.
But it was coming to an end when she got fired.
Yeah, and when you really think about it, like, the women's division moves quick these days, yo. Think about where we were at in 2016 versus 2018 versus 2021 versus
it's
now.
Hard to come back to.
You gotta be, and it changed.
Sarah, like, I tried to watch, you know, I loved Paige in WWE.
Yeah.
And I tried to watch some Saraya stuff in AEW. Mm-hmm. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah, it moves quick. It moves quick.
I did appreciate Trish coming back with her little feud with Becky. That was nice. She caught lightning in a bottle again, but it's hard to take a break. You said, you know, just a minute ago, Undertaker was able to stay so fresh because he didn't stop.
Never stopped. Yeah.
People forget about you when you're gone. Like, now, like, most people just think of her as an internet model now.
Yeah, I don't know that people want that run. I think they might, though. Again, who are we to say? Maybe she's building popularity on this whole other platform, this all other world. Maybe she becomes the next John Cena naked at the Oscars.
We need more people like that need a rebound and a second chance. Like, go back to TNA. Yeah. Not back to TNA,
well, you have to, like, you have to spend a couple years.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and you got to spend a couple years, like, showing us, hey.
I mean, that's what Dana Brooke's doing. She's down in TNA.
Yeah.
You know? And they're pushing her to the moon and back.
Exactly.
Need a little reset every now and then.
Totally.
Travis Scott was backstage at Raw because they were in Houston.
Okay.
We just talked about the old WWE. Nick Khan, Stephanie McMahon, and other WWE execs have officially been named in the Janelle Grant lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to be. I don't know if that totally implicates them. I think if there's one thing everyone knows and had known is that Vince, kind of a lunatic. So, I think they're all complicit in some ways, but also I think that there was obviously, like has been discussed, like, there's a power dynamic at play that, you know, it's hard to...
Yeah.
It's hard for us to speak on, and, you know, unless you're like, you know, subjected to that and feel powerless in that environment, everyone's a victim, you know?
Yeah. No, I hear you on that. It's one of those things that, like, we just talked about, we'll never know, and I'm kind of, like, I hate that it happened to the people that it happened to, but
I'd love to hear from the McMahon family. I'd love to hear from these people that were on TV for years. I'd love to hear from Stephanie at the very least.
Yeah. But I want to hear the truth, you know? I don't want to just hear some
I want to hear the truth, too, you know, but the truth...
We're not going to get it.
No, because I think the truth would really create a scenario where we never see a McMahon back at WWE, and ultimately, from what I gathered, WWE is now controlled by the bloodline, baby. I mean, it's a new bloodline taking over the WWE.
No, I love it. Like, I mean, storyline,
and it's real, and it's kind of real. It's unbelievable what has happened. If you had told me
Triple
4 years ago that, hey, Vince McMahon's going to be out at WWE, and guess who's basically going to be running it like Vince? The Rock. I would have told you.
We just need Stone Cold to come back into the fold and we'll be fine. You know, Shawn Michaels is running NXT, Triple H is behind, Rock's running the corporate, you know, like, yeah.
I mean, it would, oh my gosh. Well, we're about to have WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to create a scenario, I mean, right now you do kind of have some alignment between, like, what Cody Rhodes represents and what Stone Cold represented. So I mean, if you needed,
we'll get into it in a second with the promo. But like, I just slapped my boss.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was fantastic.
Miro and CJ are splitting up. It's a little bummer, you know.
Well, she.
I do love the Lashley memes where it's like, finish the story.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, Rusev.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they...
Poor guy, man. Just toiling and not doing nothing.
Yeah, no, I mean, they... sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And then, we talked about Mandy Rose, maybe another run. RVD also has said he is open to one last WWE run.
One of a kind.
That match, I will never forget that match with Cena. I just come back to wrestling. If Cena wins, we ride.
Oh, dude, and again, nothing better than classic Raws, watching an RVD on a Monday night, dude. Just in a ladder match. Run.
If you were to tell me some of the best runs in wrestling were RVD's second run, Shawn Michaels' second run, like Jericho's fifth run.
I don't see RVD doing a run in WWE though. I just think that
if anything, he'd probably go back to what TNA.
Again, WWE, the product has moved, and this last Royal Rumble to me was very much like
we didn't have a lot of
a message like, we're not doing legends anymore.
Yeah, this I didn't think about
like the last WrestleMania was very clear. Like, we're not doing legends anymore. Like they're almost like we don't even need Brock anymore. I mean, that's a big.
I'm so happy. The rumor was going around that he was coming in and destroying everyone in the gauntlet match. So
I'm glad that didn't happen.
Hyped that didn't happen.
I'm glad that didn't happen.
I was scared till it was over, and they cut to another scene. I was just holding my breath till that music hit.
I don't know that Brock comes back and doesn't just get booed.
Yeah, yeah. People be like, we're not standing for this.
Yeah,
isn't it funny? Like,
because it's good to be in a position where you don't really need that
fantastic.
Star power.
I love it because they finally built up stars. Yeah. It's becoming my favorite part of the week. It's time to check in with the main event results.
Boom, main event.
We had an Indus Sher sighting. They defeated Akira and Otis.
Okay. Oh, come on.
Poor Otis.
I
miss Otis and Tucky.
Mr. Money in the Bank. Come on, give him some love, dude.
Ooh, they gotta do better with Money in the Bank this year.
Yeah,
do better.
Senior Money in the Bank. Every time I see that,
yeah. I realized they painted themselves in a corner.
Well, I realized this past Monday why they did that, so that they could sell purple briefcases at the merch stand. That's the only reason. Well, now they have two different types of Money in the Bank.
Well, I prefer the green one.
I do too.
As opposed to, in favor of Chelsea Green, who also was on main event and defeated Natalia.
Oh, Natalia,
lost to Tegan Knox last week, beat her partner Natalia.
Natalia stays taking L's. Love Natalia, but
the boat. That was what a terrible name, dude. I'm the boat.
Yeah.
Best of all time. Like, I get what you're trying to do there. It didn't land. All right, let's check in with NXT. I've been a fan of his for a while, and they chased tag team gold. Now he's getting a chance to go after NXT gold. The Don NXT beat Mello. Now he's in line for that shot. Added to the family. Added a member to the family. Had his guy recruiting out there. I love Rizzo too. I think she's got the best accent out of all of them.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when he beat Mello, he turned and said, "Mello, I got a surprise for you. Trick Williams is back. Now we get the Trick Mello feud."
Great.
I think he's a star, man.
Oh, absolutely.
He can talk on the mic. He can go in the ring.
Super hype. Music hits.
And I'm talking about Trick and Mello.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah. Oh no, we're gonna see that feud. We're gonna see that feud like
with Braun sprinkled into. Yeah. That's gonna be Triple H, Rock, and Stone Cold right there.
Yeah.
And then I'm loving the Dijak Gacy feud.
Yeah.
They finally gave Gacy something to do. Like he lost his people, so now he's just going crazy. And Dijak's trying to put him in his place, and he's like, "Nah."
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some Raw action. This past week, Drew McIntyre kicks off the show, fire on the mic like he always is.
Yeah.
Brings out Seth. How you feeling about the Seth's a junkie thing?
I love it. I mean, just the way Drew says stuff and the way that, like, it's delivered and the way that He is right now.
Yeah.
He's a junkie for it.
Because he's not thinking about his feud. He's worried about Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, and he's worried about all this other stuff.
They're painting this perfectly for this to cost Seth his championship. I love that Drew's going to be the one that takes it from him.
Yeah, it's going to be
whether
great.
this was the original plans or not.
And whether it's exactly. And again,
they're going this direction.
It sets up perfectly for a CM Punk return.
Oh yeah,
and again, we talked about this.
Those ground. That's going to be the feud.
I think that's going to be SummerSlam. I think it's going to be SummerSlam.
CM going to be back in time.
I think so. Okay. Yeah, I imagine so.
Well, I think Seth's setting him. I think they're going to give him some time off. I think his wife's going to join him because Becky and Liv had a banger of a match. But it's looking more and more like. And then they got Becky Nia next week in a last man standing match, which you know Rhea's going to be there.
Yeah,
you know Liv's going to be there. So I think next week we finally get the confirmation. It's a fatal 4-way, and then I don't know who they.
At Mania?
Yeah.
You think? Oh, so you don't think it remains 1-on-1?
I think why bring them into it so close to Mania? Why still have Nia and Liv involved in this?
Right.
Like we really haven't gotten a Becky Rhea just them face to face.
Right.
Liv's always been in the background. Nia's always been ready to jump somebody.
Yeah, I mean maybe now that there's a new regime, we're more open to the fatal 4-ways, the triple threats, the 6-pack challenges.
How you feeling? You get in your ladder match. You get 12 dudes. You get 12 guys beating the crap out of each other with a ladder.
Oh, it's going to be an incredible match. It's going to be fantastic. It's probably going to be match of the night.
You think they unify the belts after this?
Yeah.
I hope they do something.
I think you have to.
Well, I hope that whoever wins it gets to take their belts back to whatever show they're on. And then the next night, I'm hoping that another set of tag team belts is incorporated into their plans for the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I need a tournament.
Yeah.
Something. We got way too many great tag teams out here.
Yeah.
Or like we said, I know we had some resistance on the YouTubes. I get it. Of people wanting more belts. But if we get a tag team on one and a trios on the other, I know y'all hate the trios idea. But if we could get it on one, at least let some people shine.
Absolutely.
But how you feel? What are some teams you want to see in this thing? Obviously, we're going to get DIY.
Oh, yeah. I want to see the Street Profits.
Montez on the ladder?
Come on. We're going to see some Street Profits in there. Who else?
I think we get R-Truth and Miz. Because they brought them up.
Yeah. I think we get the New Day in there.
Yeah.
I think you got to do the New Day. I think you're definitely going to get... Did you say DIY?
Yeah. You get Authors of Pain in there. Damn. You got to have some big guys to take some spills and catch some people.
Yeah, someone's got to be a pillow, dude.
Yeah, those are the guys.
Yeah. That's going to be a great match. Maybe that's where DIY pulls it out. Maybe that's where the Street Profits pull it out.
I would love DIY gets one hand on the Raw belts. Street Profits grab the SmackDown belts.
Beautiful.
Maybe that's what they're doing with this. Maybe they're going to ununify the belts.
That'd be great. I love that. I would love that.
What's up with this Candice LeRae bullying Maxine Dupree?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I do like they're leaning into it. They're getting feedback from what they're getting at these shows.
Love Candice, though. I love how much attention they're giving Candice.
Love the heel turn here.
And Maxine, I mean, come on. Step it up, Maxine Dupree. Step it up.
Well, this is a way of...
Out here looking like a robot in the ring.
Yeah. Well, you're out here, and the crowd has picked up on it. Yeah. So you got to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Because a couple of years ago, they just keep shoving her in our face and not acknowledge it.
Right.
At least they're being like, we know she sucks. We're trying.
Yeah, exactly. It's great.
But it's weird that they put her with Ivy Nile, because Ivy's pretty new, too.
Yeah.
Figured they'd put her with a Candice LeRae. I would love to see an angle where she bullies Maxine Dupree to be like a follow of hers, I'll teach you how to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that kind of thing.
Right.
And then that paints the picture. If she can learn under Candice and then eventually rise up and overcome the person that's kept her down.
Well, the best way to learn from someone is to go against them.
There you go.
So,
I just love that some women are getting some shine that's not title related.
Well, I agree. Yeah, I mean, there was like a whole hour-long right in smack dab in the middle of the show Monday night.
Keep it coming.
Was all,
this is the best women's wrestling's been in WWE. And
and again, you don't have Charlotte. You don't have Ronda. You don't have Sasha.
Sasha. I don't know why I said it like Sasha. You don't have Sasha.
You don't have Sasha. It's great.
I love it. I'm here for it.
I am too.
I hope the Io Bailey match just blows the doors off.
I hope so too, because I don't feel like they're giving the feud enough love leading up to Mania.
Nah, we'll talk about that on the SmackDown side. Cody, the interview with Seth, it keeps coming up. Can you trust Seth? So we've talked about.
Oh, you're talking about
when he had the interview with Michael Cole.
Yeah,
that keeps coming up. So
first off, shout out to Michael Cole. Did you see this
MVP,
suit?
Dude. MVP.
Beautiful suit Michael Cole's rocking, number one.
I'm loving him and Corey, dude.
And number two...
Or not, Pat McAfee.
And number two, Michael Cole just got out there and was like, you know what? I'm the man. I'm about to cut a promo. Michael Cole cut a promo on us. It was sick.
I love it, but we talked about how this is going to hurt Seth.
Yeah.
But we haven't talked about the possibility of Seth. What if Seth and Roman are in on this together?
No way. There's no...
Reuniting the two-man power trip?
I don't think there's any way.
Going in a different direction. Roman realizing his family's getting too clustered, so he needs an escape plan.
I don't think there's any way. You know, Seth and Roman have been kind of at odds and feuding a bit. You know, I don't see it. I think what they're building up is Seth is naive right now, too focused on this.
Just don't know why they keep talking about it.
Not focused on his own storyline.
They keep talking. Why? Can you trust Seth? Can you trust Seth? I'm just saying. The old school wrestling fan in me is like, why are they talking about it?
Because at the end of the day, the Shield. I mean,
exactly.
You know, is this
That's
the whole?
their guy,
Is this the whole play?
If Moxley's contract was coming up due at AEW, I'd be a little more suspicious. But he's there for a while. You know, he ain't coming back.
No.
Judgment Day beat up R-Truth and DIY, so I do feel like they're positioning DIY to be that team.
Yep.
Jay finally challenges his brother.
Love it.
I've been wanting brother versus brother since we talked about the build up to WrestleMania.
And it's great. We're gonna see some heat. We're gonna see some great promos. It's gonna get ugly. Oogly.
Sammy wins the gauntlet. Him and Chad came down to him and Chad.
I mean, I'm glad.
I feel like they played it well.
Yeah. Sammy's going to take a beating at Mania. Beating.
Yeah.
I do hope Chad Gable can find a way into that match.
I think he will.
You know, because think about it. Sammy had his WrestleMania moment last year.
They didn't pull the trigger when they needed to.
Sammy got his WrestleMania moment last year. Chad Gable has not really had a Mania moment. This, if you put Chad Gable, Sammy, Gunther in the match... Gunther doesn't have to be pinned. Sammy can take the fall for Chad Gable.
Okay.
I could see that.
I can see how that goes.
And Sammy's
because they want to keep building up Gunther.
They have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hope he challenges. I can't wait for the eventual him and Cody feud.
Oh, it's gonna be fantastic. I want that to be like a Survivor Series match.
Be great.
Yeah. God, that'd be a great match.
Yeah, I love that. All right, switching over to SmackDown, you got Logan Paul sponsoring. Got the big old Prime logo in the middle.
Hey, what better thing to do? A, to make Logan Paul a heel.
Oh yeah, people to make him out of the arena.
What better thing to do to make pro wrestling more legit? More like boxing than putting that.
Because it's only going to be for the live events, right? The
premium live events. Yeah. Only for the premium live events.
I'm still not used to not saying pay-per-views.
You know, it's huge. I mean, there's a piece of me that wants to figure out what's going on with this Prime drink. Like, is it poison? I know that they're like investigating the sugar, whether or not the nutritional facts are accurate.
I just think it's another thing like kids that drink 4 of them. Probably not good for you.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I'm sure it's like that, but you know, just want to make sure that everything's kosher on that front. But you know, I do think it's awesome. Great way to continue to. Logan Paul again is coming in, and he's just such a natural. He has all these different tools that they can play with. Beautiful.
KSI, his buddy, got an RKO for his trouble.
Fantastic.
It was he sold it.
It's great.
Sold it great.
It was fantastic.
Then that kicked into KO and Orton beating up Theory and Waller. So we're getting that 3-way match at KO, Orton, Logan
Paul. I hope so. Yeah.
Either that or I don't know. Yeah, like you said, man, there's still some blurriness around some of these feuds.
We were talking earlier where it just seems like, and again, the Bloodline storyline has been fantastic, but it really has dominated so much of the airtime that a lot of these other stories, a lot of these other massive superstars. I mean, what's Lashley's WrestleMania?
That's what I was just going to say. Lashley, I really want to invest. I really want to get invested in this Final Testament versus Lashley and the Street Profits, but they got to give me something because right now, Lashley and the Profits has been getting beat up.
Right.
They had a DQ and Lashley and the Profits got them a little bit, but then here comes AOP and just they're too big.
Right. Right.
So I don't get where they're going with here, you know. And then it seems like we're not getting the end in sight to the LWO Legato feud because it looks like Dragon Lee's getting pulled into it now because you got Dragon Lee. He beat Garza, but then got the crap beat out of him by Legato. No LWO. They made a point to say the LWO was not in the building.
Yeah, it's just I'm there's a lot more that needs to be fleshed out here.
I'm really hoping even if we get some throwaway feud like fights at WrestleMania like early on night one between these, night after WrestleMania or the SmackDown after WrestleMania, all of these groups have to go their separate ways.
Yeah.
Or it has to get better.
Yeah. Well, and I think
the status quo thing just
totally. And I think each night of WrestleMania might be a little bit shorter this year, maybe 3.5 hours.
5.5 hours.
Yeah, like maybe 4 or 5 big matches where they give each one an hour.
Yeah.
As opposed to 8 or 9.
So you think we get actually
night.
more wrestling now? That's why we're not maybe getting some clear cut feuds.
I think potentially. Yeah.
Okay. They're like, we've already told you the fight you're getting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I do think when you really think about it, WWE's done a really good job basically saying we're not going to give you every wrestler at every event. Like,
well, we didn't get LA Knight AJ.
Right.
And we know that's going to be a match, but they didn't talk about it.
They might be just scrapping that outright. I mean, it would, who, I mean, maybe they're saving it for Backlash in France. Again, a massive show. It's like they have all of these different shows where it's like,
you think we're going to get back to the...
If someone isn't included in WrestleMania, you have the biggest show we're ever doing in Europe, like around the corner, and you can put me on that. Fine. Like, I think there's a way to for there not to be so much pressure on
one show
anymore, and you can space it out.
8 matches when 5 would be great.
Yeah,
but I mean, how do you? Well,
but I do.
I think we'll
wish
get back to SmackDown has their pay-per-view, Raw has their.
No, I don't think we'll ever get back to that. Because I think that they're blurring shows. I mean,
I love that they almost. I made this joke in my head that they're giving the top wrestlers almost like they're. How as comics we put our upcoming show posters.
Yeah.
Well, they've been doing like Cody on Raw.
Exactly.
SmackDown.
Yeah, telling people where they're going to
be.
Yeah, it's great.
It's hilarious, man. Upcoming.
Yeah, but I do think it's. I just wish a few of the matches were more defined. I don't like this feeling like we're promoting Gunther versus Sammy, but then in 2 weeks, now it's going to be Gunther, Sammy, Chad Gable. It's just, sure, the cards can change leading up to it, but I don't know. Classic was, you knew the card a couple months in advance.
Right. We'd already have this set unless they were scrambling for something. But
and
I think that's why I'm a big fan of this Logan Paul KO Orton is because that's one of the feuds that they did give time to, and it kind of happened organically.
Yeah, it would be a great
KO
match.
adding to it didn't seem forced.
Right.
It almost like Orton was added last minute, but they had such a great interaction at the Chamber, you didn't think about that.
Right.
So people were like, KO's getting added into this. Like, he was the prime guy from the get-go.
Yeah, exactly.
Him and Logan were doing their thing, and then Logan messed up and knocked out Orton with brass knuckles at the Chamber. So, of course, the Viper's going to come out.
Yeah.
No, so I do love that was a little more organically and I do love that they're kind of painting Dakota Kai as like the mastermind behind Damage Control.
Yeah.
So that is a nice little element to this because I don't know if her knee's not right yet or if they're just going to let her be the mouthpiece of these girls.
Because now that she's playing Bailey, it's becoming more obvious. Yeah,
it was great. I love that little wrinkle into it. Like I didn't really want just her and Bailey against Damage Control,
right?
You know, like, and then Damage Control didn't have a mouthpiece, so then those promos are going to be weird. Because I love when they let Asuka just go off in Japanese.
Yeah, it's so.
But
great.
I know the average, the most fans probably are like, "What is this?
What's happening?" Yeah, I love it. No, I think
I love like them and not like especially like they're letting Nakamura do it more too. I love like speak your language.
Exactly. Let's just subtitle it. Exactly.
Yeah,
it's great.
How you feeling? We got to talk about it. Cody got the.
Well, I thought it was amazing promo. Something about this promo felt different. Maybe it's like they felt the pressure of time. Dude, The Rock was very mean. The Rock had a different edge.
Yeah. Again, but it's showing he's getting irritated. Kind of like that it's showing that layer to it. He's like, y'all still making me come talk about this?
No, I mean, and The Rock's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
It's like you can tell, like, when Rhea was starting her promo, how many times did she say congratulations? 3 or 4 because the crowd was cheering. But clearly she was like, oh, I have a script and I need everyone to hear every word. And it starts with congratulations.
Yeah.
And whereas The Rock,
start with this or
whereas The Rock is an actor. He gets out there. He gets out there and he just serves it up. And oh man, they keep delivering these epic moments with this feud. When you think about Cody first introducing The Rock into the picture, epic moment. When you think about the press conference in Vegas, epic moment.
We're still talking about it.
Yeah, when you think about The Rock coming out and joining the Bloodline, epic. When you think about The Rock's new entrance, so good, epic.
That was cool with the lightning. That was awesome.
And then when you think about what happened this past week, where The Rock literally said, "You were a mistake." Oh, and then the smack to the face. Oh, it's so good. And again, it's great storytelling because The Rock is technically Cody's boss.
They hit the milestone with this. Like they've been getting so many views on their social media. They hit 100 million on YouTube.
With this most recent one?
With this big push.
Yeah.
So I
mean, with
getting the casual fans and the people that didn't know what they're doing, they hit 100 million subscribers. They got this really cool plaque. We're just coming.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the middle of the best. This is the best story. Yeah. Roman Reigns as champion is the best story. I think I read something that basically said that, I think Paul Heyman said it, that when him and Roman Reigns were kind of creating this run, the goal was for fans to be left talking about this run in the same way we talk about Tony Soprano.
Oh, wow.
And when I think about it that way...
Okay.
It's right. Yeah. I mean, it's so right.
You got the Succession theme song.
You got the Succession theme song. You've got this almost mafia family.
The Samoan Mafia.
Yeah, where you're like...
Again, and I'm glad they didn't name it that,
Yeah, exactly.
Vince would have probably named it that.
Yeah.
The Samoan Mafia.
But the bloodline, I mean, it's...
it just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, so I mean...
And people are going to be talking about this feud for a hot minute.
And then with The Rock entering it and with the hyper-realism of The Rock being a board member, and he even brought it, he said, I am a board member of TKO, which means I am your... I mean, the way he was like, I am your boss, I am your... I mean, he's right.
He is. He is.
It's crazy.
Like, in reality, he could fire Cody tomorrow.
Absolutely.
That's the best part. Well, speaking of Cody Rhodes, their bloodline, we talked about Cody, we talked about The Rock, we talked about the whole Samoan family. Let's talk about Cody's family. Like, he's the ultimate, do you know who my father is? Yeah. But in the best way possible. It's not he's a rich lawyer, he's gonna get me out of it. He's a son of a plumber. The American dream. So of course Cody's the American nightmare. I love that play. I've always loved that play. But born Virgil Riley Runnels Jr., October 11th, 1945 in Austin, Texas.
Yeehaw.
He lied his way into the wrestling business in 1967, saying he had been wrestling and training for a couple years.
What a smooth talker.
He gets into Big Time Wrestling. That's the name of the promotion in Boston. Works his way up to a heavyweight match in his first couple of matches. Slept in his car. He spent Thanksgiving that year at a soup kitchen. In 1968, moved down to Big Time Wrestling in Texas. Can you imagine, like, moving from Boston to Texas? Same name, different promotions.
Yep.
Big Time Wrestling in Texas was the Von Erichs. would eventually turn into WCCW, which would turn into WCW. That's where he would adopt the Dusty Rhodes name. And what's crazy is his time in Texas, he was a rule-breaking heel. The original incarnation of Dusty Rhodes is a rule-breaking heel.
That's great.
Moved to Kansas City, he forms a tag team with Dick Murdoch. They're now known as the Texas Outlaws. Do that for the rest of the 60s into the 70s. 1974, the American Dream is born in Florida. That's where he becomes a working class hero. That's where he starts feuding with Ric Flair, the Road Warriors, all those classic feuds that we've learned and loved from Dusty Rhodes. Even spent some time in 1977 up in the Northeast when Vince's dad came calling for the WWF. What a terrible name.
Seriously.
Stayed there till 83, off and on. Would come into the territory. We still had the territory so you could go work. Especially heels, they had to move around because you fought the top guy, you lost. What do you do now, you know?
Right.
So really worked his way around the territories. In 1985, he gets his first taste of being that Booker wrestler with Jim Crockett Promotions. That's where he also teamed with Magnum TA. They would go on to have some amazing feuds with the Four Horsemen and the Russian team. That's what they were called.
Yeah,
the Russian team. So when you got that whole mid 80s, it was just Rhodes, Flair, and Harley Race battling it out for the NWA Heavyweight Championship.
Beautiful.
Right.
I mean, what a golden era.
Yeah. And of course, that would lead to October 1985. We get the Hard Times promo.
Yeah.
Who many consider to be top 5 wrestling promo of all time.
It's amazing.
If not number 1.
It's amazing.
Where would you put it up there? To me, Cream of the Crop's number 1.
Okay. I mean, for me, I think Ric Flair's 1992 Royal Rumble with the tear in my eye.
That's
This is the greatest moment of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about the context around that.
Yeah.
Cream of the Crop. I mean, I put Hard Times number 2 behind that because, I mean, I think those two...
Even non-wrestling fans know
kind of battle it out. Yeah.
You know what's
underrated? And Cream of the Crop is great. It's silly. It's fun. I mean, so many of those are great. But when you think about when you feel like somebody could die of the emotion they feel in that moment.
People wrote letters
offering
their support for this dude.
Yeah.
From this promo.
It's amazing.
To me, Dark Horse is Mark Henry's retirement speech.
Yeah. That's
his
good.
fake retirement speech. God, he got me, dude.
Yeah.
I was crying. I was teared up. I was like, I just come back. Like, I just found wrestling again. Like, me and my brother had brought me back into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, Sexual Chocolate's retiring?
Yeah.
Man. And then he power slammed Cena. I was like, oh! It was great. And then, of course, they did nothing with it.
Yeah.
Hard Times promo, October 85. That's when he was feuding with the WWF. Vince, so catty. Did you know that Virgil, the guy that was with the $1 Million Ted DiBiase, was named Virgil as a inside slap at Dusty Rhodes?
I did not know
Dusty Rhodes. Because his real name's Virgil. Bobby the Brain Heenan came up with that.
That's disrespectful.
To both parties. Poor Virgil. He's like, we're calling you Virgil as a joke.
That's disrespectful. Yeah. Hate that.
Yep. But, as we all know...
Payback is a...
Well, we also have seen that the people weren't really playing fair over there.
No.
So they were catty and as they could be. This is when they adopted it's called the Dusty Finish.
Okay.
Dusty was involved in so much that they named the finish after him. It's where it's a trick ending in which a wrestler would win a match while the referee was knocked out. But then the decision would be overturned by another referee.
Yeah,
it's called the Dusty Finish.
It's a great finish.
Yeah, man. Was fired by WCW in '89 for bleeding on camera. They had a very strict no bleeding on camera. Dusty was like, I'm old school. This feud calls for it. So he busted his eye on one of the Road Warrior spikes on their shoulder pads. Got canned for that.
Oh, man.
That, unfortunately, would lead to the yellow polka dot years in WWF, 89 through 91. Who he still made it work.
Still crushed it, Dusty Rhodes.
Still crushed it,
dude.
Like I watched that feud with him and was it Sapphire? Who was his valet?
Oh,
against
was it
Sherry and
yeah?
Was it Macho Man? That would take him back to WCW as a booker, manager, wrestler, whatever they needed from him. That's when he got to be on screen with his son, Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah, big moment.
His last match for the foreseeable future was November 24th, 1994, tagging with his son, Dustin Rhodes, against Arn Anderson and Buckhouse Buck, who we all know as Terry Funk.
Boom. That's a great match.
Right. He attributes the Funks to getting him into... That's how he lied to get into wrestling in the first place, by saying he knew the Funks, which he had met one time.
Nice.
That would lead him to be mainly on commentary by 95 in WCW, and we all know he joined the infamous NWO in 96. He would stay with the sinking ship that is WCW up until 2000. We would go to ECW, where he would wrestle, teaming with Tommy Dreamer against Steve Corino and Raven. They had a long feud. Cody talks pretty bad about that. I mean, he's like, that was putting food on their table, but he hated seeing his dad do that.
That promo with Paul Heyman. Yeah.
Kind of, he still didn't really know what to do, lost his place, because, WWF kind of bought everything in 2000. They bought ECW, they bought WCW.
And right around this time, Cody Rhodes is going to the high school that I ended up going to, Lassiter High School.
Look at that.
Cody Rhodes is becoming a wrestling high school state champion at this time.
And his dad is starting Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling in 2000. Did you ever see that in Georgia?
I did not. Mm-mm.
That would lead to him going to TNA in 2003. He did some things with TNA when they were big on the old legends. TNA was up there for a little bit.
TNA was slapping. I mean, especially when they had that young AJ Styles guy.
Dude, I love the Main Event Mafia versus the TNA Originals. Love that. So I love the Aces of 8 storyline. I loved them all.
Their ladder matches with the string. I mean, it was some wild matches. Yeah.
They did. He signed his Legends deal in WWE in 2005. That's when he got to watch his sons win tag team gold. He would go on to become the coach that everyone talks so fondly of in NXT. I feel like he needed that. He had a solid 10-year run there in NXT, being on screen with his sons. Because unfortunately he died in 2015 at the age of 69. Nice. From kidney failure.
Classic Dusty. Yeah, the dream. Yeah, I mean, Dusty Rhodes is really credited with helping, the main folks on the roster now. Roman Reigns.
Roman says
Seth
he fixed his promo.
Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair.
We all saw some pretty bad Roman promos.
Bailey. A lot of these folks really credit Dusty with helping them find their character, their voice, everything. He was one of those people that could really help the business. He wasn't just in it to help himself. He made the business better.
Truly loved pro wrestling.
And now in NXT they have the Dusty Cup Challenge, which is a tag team tournament, which helps introduce new tag teams into.
Well, I love how they got a tradition of two dudes thrown together.
Yeah.
That makes sense by the end of it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Dusty Rhodes story. So what are your parting thoughts? How are you feeling? What would you like to see in the next coming weeks to really solidify your WrestleMania experience, since you'll be there in person?
Well, I think here's my prediction. My prediction is, night one in the main event, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins versus The Rock, Roman Reigns. I think it's pretty obvious what happens. I think it's pretty obvious that The Rock and Roman Reigns win that match, and here's why. It is The Rock's first match back.
Can't lose.
I don't know.
Especially if Roman's going to take an L the next night.
I don't know that he can lose, especially if Roman's going to take an L the next night. I think you beat up Seth, which then creates a scenario.
Poor Seth's got to lose twice?
Yeah. Well, I think there could be...
Is that why he's going to go away from
I think there's a couple of scenarios here. Hear me out. I think night one could end with the Bloodline beating them. Okay. Then Damian Priest cashing in. winning, setting up Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre for the next night. I can also see a scenario where, again, the Bloodline wins. Seth Rollins is beat so badly that it makes it pretty easy for Drew McIntyre to win the next night.
But Seth tries.
Then I think you also, for the sake of the main event night 2, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, you need the bloodline as a factor. You need more for Cody to overcome.
You can't just tell them not to go away. You're that makes a lot of sense.
You need more for Cody to overcome. And again, this could create that scenario where The Rock returns as the people's champ.
I'm loving it because they can go in so many different directions. For the first time in a long time, I don't know what's going to happen, man.
Right.
I can see him justifying a lot of different routes with this. What I need to see is AJ and LA Knight on the screen, if that's what they're going to have them at WrestleMania. I need them building up to this because I need to see LA talk. I saw an old TNA promo where they were going out a little bit. Need more of that.
Yep.
I need them to figure out this cluster on SmackDown with Final Testament, The Pride, LWO, Legato. Push someone to the moon and back, and then figure out the rest. But other than that, you guys are crushing.
Crushing it. We're loving it.
I'm thoroughly enjoying watching it. I'm loving it.
We are loving it.
So hit that subscribe button. Check out all the great stuff on Project Nerd. Make sure you go see my man in Atlanta.
Saturday, March 30th, Atlanta Symphony Hall. With Dusty Slay.
Dude, you got a week coming up. You know you're going to do that and then pivot to WrestleMania.
It's about to be a big week. Yeah. We're very excited about it. Ooh, and then a week before that, I'll be in Los Angeles supporting my partner. She'll be putting on a massive event in Los Angeles. So it's about to be a fun few weeks.
I hear you, man. We'll keep it locked in here. We got all your news and
Where can they find you? Where are you going to be? Tell them.
I am going to be in North Carolina on a little run in Wilmington, North Carolina, if you're around the coast. Follow me on Laugh with Harrison on Instagram. Got all the shows coming up. After WrestleMania, I'll be in Baltimore and Hagerstown, Maryland. LA Knight territory. And go check it out. And most importantly, we can't wait to be here to talk about all the great things on your wrestling screen.
Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends. Keep loving wrestling.
We'll see you next time.